Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, what is going on? My name is Boit, and I am back with some more Age of Mythology retold action in the bottom of the map. A fan favorite, a man who loves a defensive Greek game. His name is Divine. He's changed his name back. He was Aetherial for a while. Now he said, no, you know what? He's going to go back to Divine. Let's go. On the top of the map, playing as the Red Isis. He's a very fiery boy, but he's calling himself Icy today. His name is Firefox, and he's from the DoD clan. So, what do we got here? We got ourselves on the map Savannah. We got some really, really defensive shenanigans on the back here with the Gazelle. And we have an interesting matchup. A matchup that I have struggled with quite a lot, I think, from the Hades side, but I do think this is, like, playable. But you are very much the defender in this one. But Hades is always the defender, so that's normal. But this does play into Divine's playstyle. So, not to throw any shade, but Divine plays, generally speaking, one way, and he likes to play a far second town center, and he likes to play a very heavily defensive game. Often doesn't really raid a whole lot, and he'll just try and basically say, I'm going to prevent you from doing any damage to me while while we get to our power spike or our death ball or our late game, and then he'll start to unleash and all the other good stuff. Nonetheless, let's check out the relics. Over onto the left-hand corner, we have the Ship of Fingernails. Just a little bit of extra food is always nice. Funnily enough, if this relic was like 0.1 food per second, you'd basically, it would be ridiculously good. But at 0.5 food per second, it's like, yeah, I'll grab it. It's a nice little boost, but it's not that much. If you know what I mean? Whereas on the Isis side of things, you get that technology Flood of the Nile, of which Firefox has already grabbed, and you're just off to the races with that technology and everything else that comes with it. Another relic up onto this side is the Blanket of Empress Zoe. This is building damage vulnerability to crush, minus 15%. This is going to be a really big relic for our Hades player to pick up as well in this matchup, because like I said, he's going to be playing defense, making that crush damage to buildings be less effective is going to help him play defense even more so. But we'll see if he actually goes for something completely different. He might. And then to the side, we have Staff of Dionysus, another amazing relic here for the Hades player. All of these are just Hades relics, it looks like. This is actually also okay for the Egyptian, but Egyptian's got the healing from the priests, so you don't really need it. But this is going to be able to help against any sort of Anubite raids or Sphinx raids or anything like that that comes through and slowly starts to damage villages. So that one there going to be nice for Divine if he wants to go pick that up. And finally, we have the Tusk of Dankang, which is going to spawn 2 pigs every 150 seconds on your town center. Either or is very, very, very good for both of these guys. As we are going to be actually seeing Bast in for Firefox, which I think is maybe a slight deviation from what we've been seeing. I think that the meta sometimes takes a little while to maybe catch up to patch notes, so to speak. And this is at the top level, right? So we saw a ton of Anubis before the Anubite got, like, it basically got bug fixed, and the Anubite was stuck. It was bug fixed. The Anubite now lands and plays an animation at the end of its landing. That was on purpose. It was supposed to be in at launch, but for whatever reason, the animation wasn't working. They threw it in, and players have been going for less and less Anubites, but still going Anubis since that change has come through. But against some gods, it's still really good to go Anubis. It's still really good to go for those Anubites. But against Hades and Poseidon in particular, you really don't want to, because of the Achilles or because of the Atalanta. Did you see the town center coming up over here? Ajax is wandering forward. This is... Wait. Hello? This is beyond strange. Firefox drops a barracks. He sends his villagers over here. 1 spearman and a dream to play defense. And then he's going to be able to get his town center. So Divine gets his own town center. No Sphinx onto this position as Divine does pull the Ajax back to play, protect the villagers here. There was this one game that Divine played in the tournament, which I think he commented on at some point, maybe in Twitch chat, I can't remember, and he said, yeah, it was just silly, I didn't leave my hero on my town center, and he got Eclipse killed and took a huge amount of damage from one Sphinx. And it got power, obviously, but huge amount of damage, and it was a tough game for him from there onwards. But he doesn't make that mistake in this game, and Firefox also doesn't manage to punish, so no problems as the granary comes down. Rhinoceros going to get eaten. It's a decent town center here, but this... I guess this is what you want here from Isis, I guess. So the reason why this is what you want from Isis is because you want to be able to launch off of this and attack the Hades. As this Ajax does get shanked down. He does have the weight advantage, so he can push through this, but 1 Minotaur going to come through, as well as the Ajax is also going to be a restoration here, if need be. And Divine says, no, not just yet. Let's wait out this one. Let's wait for the Achilles. And Firefox is going to be kicking himself for not luring these rhinos. Now he does. He might be able to lure them all... Wait. He might be able to lure them all the way back to the town center, but he decides against that. He's going to have to make a couple more spearmen out, but Divine playing this really, really, really safe. He definitely could put more pressure on, get some villager picks and things like that over here, but that's not what's happening, as the goats will come back in, and a little bit of a goat count after all is said and done. 13 to 211. I'm a bit surprised to see Divine on his goats already. Does he have himself husbandry? He does have husbandry. So they're speedy, but still, I guess there's only 3 berries, so I guess that's what he wants. Up onto the top here, the hunt is very, very far away from Divine as well if he wants to come over and grab those rhinos or these giraffes that are all the way on the other side of the map. Whereas Firefox has got everything close by, as a market also already coming down. Little bits of pressure to come through here, as well as the Minotaur comes in. Big headbutt onto those villagers. This one gets sent flying so far. There is still that Staff of Dionysus technology, so that will help keep the villagers alive ever so slightly as the healing comes through. And Firefox loses just 1 villager for that. He'll be back onto the food momentarily here, as the spearmen can continue to poke away over here and just pull back and then heal up with the priest. It's a really nice amount of value he's getting here. However, Aphrodite is already on the way. This is advantage Divine. He gets to the heroic age first. He's going to be able to set up his fortress wherever he wants, and he's going to be able to maybe start sieging this position. And Firefox might actually want to consider doing something slightly off center, like maybe going straight for a siege works or something here to try and break that fortress down. So military academy coming up over onto this side. Ajax does get deleted. He's going to be rebuilding that one. And the heroic age comes through. And the villagers will pop through the town center, make their way forward. And this is very, very aggressive, but he's got sentinels. He's got the fortress to come down. The reason this is this is actually super risky. The reason it's risky is because Divine doesn't know what the heroic age time is for Firefox. And Firefox, to some degree, probably mismacroed a little bit here. Probably could have been a little bit on the quicker side to the heroic age. But you could imagine that an Ancestor Eclipse getting dropped onto this position would hurt a lot here. Another idea is to drop Eclipse here, because you will also have Ancestors to drop on the tail end of that Eclipse, as the Sphinx goes down to the Nemean Lion hero combo. Pharaoh's coming through trying to take out the Sphinx as well. 1 villager might end up getting picked off, but that's not value there. Luckily, he doesn't lose the Pharaoh, but this is, I guess it's a no, the curse is still up here for Divine, so there is nothing for an option here. Ancestor Eclipse does get dropped into the main base. This is going to cause a lot of idle time, as the villagers will spread everywhere, as the minions probably not going to get any kills, but the idle time getting caused everywhere is absolutely gigantic. Also a funeral rites coming through. This does not give you gold back for a dead minion, so don't worry about that one. But the villagers over there getting targeted down, and yeah, Divine with 16 idle villagers there for a little bit, 13 over here. They're going to be heading back to work. And the minion pressure has been dealt with. Not the craziest amount of damage from that god power, but it is going to be a big deal. Now, following on from this, the big question is, Firefox here, what does he do next? It's looking like he wants... I was going to say it's looking like he wants a Mythic Age, but he is going Elephant, which makes a lot of sense when your opponent is most likely going to be making Peltast. So you get out the Elephant, and then you go into a whole bunch of Chariot Archers, and maybe you can push through here and make this work. There's the Nemean Lion here. Looks like it's about to go down. Restoration coming through as the Nemean Lion gets pulled back to try and keep that one alive as long as possible. And Firefox without the forward monument here, not able to play around that. There's still Curse available, healing that War Elephant alive. They're keeping that one. They still want this one over here to heal up as well. Could be a good idea, but Firefox is just continuing to send units forward. As the Nemean Lion on the back there does end up going down. The Scorpion Man gets pulled back. Good control from Firefox, but the army out for Divine is looking like it's more than enough now. Achilles on the front will go down. Another siege works onto the side to come through. But Firefox needs units, and he needs a lot of units, and he needs them very, very quickly. Chariot Archers would not go astray. The Elephants can at least harass the Petropoli back here. There's no like amazing choke point to use to siege this position down. This Chariot Archer's getting picked off. Got to be so careful here. This is actually quite a tough position to be in for our ISIS player. A lot of things have not gone right for him in this game, so we'll have to see if he can hold on, push back. He does have the entirety of the map under his own vision at the moment, so he sees everything. He's also got all the hunts, so he doesn't have to go into farms, whereas Divine has had to build farms. He's got 19 up, so there's a lot of resource advantage for the moment to be spent on military or tech for Firefox that Divine's had to spend on economy. But that will flip back later into the favor of Divine, obviously. Because now the heavy War Elephants is actually through. Are we going to see some type of siege tower or something to come in and start to be a front line on this side? Looks like it's not exactly what's happening. And the ideas of going Elephant Axeman makes some sense, but the Axeman just dies so quickly to Sentinels, Fortress, and also the Peltas. You might not think so, but 4.2 pierce damage per second is still quite a bit when the Axeman have got 5% pierce armor. It's kind of like a counter archer unit versus, or range unit versus a counter infantry unit. They kind of butt heads against each other and they both sort of die. Well, the counter archer versus the counter infantry. The counter archer does technically counter this guy. Because look, he's got 19% pierce armor. Meanwhile, actually, never mind. Does he just have a whole bunch more upgrades? Divine doesn't even have an armory. Over here, we do see that the armory is up for Firefox. But Firefox is still not quite able to make any ground here. But he is managing to keep himself looking very competitive with that military resource value. Now he says, all right, time to charge back in here. There will be another restoration. Firefox does not have that monument on the front, so restoration will come through and be be able to at least give the advantage over to Divine after something after this fight or during this fight. I don't know. He's holding on to the restoration as long as he possibly can. Fortress does, however, go down. And Firefox says, all right, let's go elsewhere. Looks like he's saying, okay, we can charge after the town center on the bottom here as the Scorpion Man is going after some villages while this is all going on. Tyron not in position there to take this one out. Can easily pull his heroes over and deal with the Scorpion Man, but still has not noticed it. Now he's starting to send those heroes over there to take that one out. But Divine going to be losing his town center as well. It's not that big of a deal. This is a huge resource loss for Firefox. Siege tower, elephants, 5 elephants. How much do these guys cost? It's like 170, 180, 70. That's 250. Is that right? 250 resources. So 1,250, 1,650 resources. 650? 1,550 resources to kill off the town center. For 700 cost. It's probably costs about 1,000 resources to rebuild a town center because of the build time. So the idle time of the villagers. Maybe, roughly. Maybe I'm a bit off on that math. But something like that. But definitely advantage Divine on that trade. And now Divine can wander back up. He can get his fortress back up. We do see the villagers actually going for this gold mine. A little bit of a risk on the Divine part. But we'll see if it can pay off. Meanwhile, behind all of this, we're going to be seeing town centers aplenty coming through for Firefox. As the hoplites getting spammed out by Divine. He's only got 3 military academies in, and only 2 of them are working at the moment. But his army is massive. As Firefox has to sack the elephants to try and take out these Petropoli, but still not able to kill both of them. Going 4 town centers behind this is absolutely insane. He does pull over here and pick off a couple of villages. But Firefox probably will have to sack this position now to get himself an army out. Or, I don't know, spam out a whole bunch of Migdol. Buy some food. Kind of expensive to do so at the moment, though. It's the siege tower trying to get in. Get the damage. Nope. Fortress will be able to complete itself. Wow, he also went for fortified town centers? 4 town center. Well, he drops 2 town centers and gets fortified town centers. Of course, this allows him to, like, survive a little longer on the town center, but that's so many resources. It's 800 resources that he's not going to be making use of for a very, very long time. He could have got, I guess he already has masons, so it's cheaper than getting architects. And now the units are coming out. Thoth pre-queued here. I think that's more of a, look, I want to go Thoth, but I know I'm not going to go there anytime soon. He's going to be spamming units out. Migdol situation is only 2 of them. So rebuilding army is really, really tough here for Firefox. He does manage to charge around to the side to take out the Petropoli as the Hoplites need to get pulled back to deal with this. At least 2 of the Petropoli are going to go down. The 3rd one as well. And then those Camel Riders can pull out of there. But it's a big trade. Who wins on that one? I do not know. Mercenary Cav coming out to deal with the Peltas is not a terrible idea either. They are very, very strong for this moment. But Firefox does not need to be going for the attack here. Pull back. Leave the Merc Cav to charge in, get the damage done. And keep building up to this full pop. But actually, he might just be thinking Mythic Age now. Every time I think Mythic Age might be a thought, it's like, no, we're just going to make a whole bunch of elephant. Now the Sentinels comes down. This is absolutely crazy from Firefox to continue to try and take this position out. He's going to lose everything again, and he still has this issue of only 2 Migdols. He's got a 3rd one now, actually. No, he's got one building over on this bottom side. Securing this gold mine, and this gold mine is going to make life very, very difficult for Divine. So this does make some sense to keep Divine preoccupied here while he sets up for map control, but he's losing a lot for it. And the siege will start up yet again. This town center down to 1400 HP. Villagers finishing up on this gold mine. Can pull those over and try and rebuild this as a random granary coming through. Restoration. Getting dropped again. Getting all those units back up to full HP. But Divine almost caught up on all the economy as well. When you're at sort of 90 villages, that's basically equal to the 100 villages of the Egyptian when you're playing Greek. It kind of allows you to go for 10 villages on favor and be equal on income, basically. But there is 17 villages on favor there for Divine, so his economy is probably a little bit slower than Firefox's. Of course, then you have to go with the trade route, and trade route you can have a little bit more economy as the Egyptian player with the pharaoh on the market. But still, Metropolis continuing to charge forward as this town center doesn't actually go down. Firefox continuing to just throw units in. I still think the best move here is to almost sack a little bit here, rebuild an army, and then be able to push back in. But that's just does not appear to be part of the Firefox game plan in this one. Random siege works onto the bottom of the map. These sort of... I'll sniff this play out a little bit. Go for some siege towers into the main base to kill off the town center. These plays are risky. They're an incredible risk. You're basically just rolling the dice and hoping your opponent doesn't notice the siege tower killing their town center. Because if they do, then they just kill the siege towers off and you've just lost a bunch of resources. Where these sorts of moves are really, really good is late game, where it doesn't really matter if you lose the siege towers. If you're not really risking much. You just go, well, if he misses it, then I kill a town center, happy days. If he sees it, I lose some siege towers. He gets some idle time. It's fine while I'm pushing somewhere else. But at this stage, this sort of an attack is very, very risky. Elephants walking in, they could be an angle here. And if we take a look, nope, Divine is going into the bottom town center. I almost thought he would go to the main town center. That might be what Firefox is trying to make work there. But now Divine says, give me the town center. I'll move over and take this gold mine with the 2,500 gold left in it. And Firefox basically needs to attempt to mine out as much of this gold here as he possibly can, and then secure the entirety of this position. And that's his win con at the moment. Charges in, 3 elephants getting cursed there as the villagers are going to start shanking those elephants down very, very quickly. Great reaction from Divine here, and this has not worked out for Firefox in the slightest. Sure, 125 favor curse for 3 elephants. That's advantage Firefox, but he also lost the other 2 elephants. He lost the siege towers. The siege towers over here going down. Town center on the top though now going to start getting harassed, but Hephaestus is about to be in, and we touched on it before. There wasn't an armory before. There wasn't any copper, but now there is copper in, but this is going to be full bronze, full iron very, very quickly, and this army from Divine is going to become nigh unkillable. The only real option for the Egyptian player in these sort of situations is to get to the Mythic Age and make some sort of myth unit like Mummy, Phoenix, Avenger. That can carve through the army, or at least kill off an army or something like that. It's now the Petropoli. Going to take out the Migdol stronghold onto this position. Camel Riders coming in. Going to start taking the villagers out here too. Hephaestus does come through as another Plenty Vault, or a Plenty Vault coming in. Siege Tower's getting pushed back here. Firefox still going for this craziness as Divine does manage to get up a very, very key fortress, securing this gold mine, giving himself a lot of life in this game. Also able to start sieging down the town center over here. And now Olympian weapons also going to come through. Gastrophotores as an option to help take out buildings, as well as taking out any sort of axeman or myth unit type idea that's coming in. It's now full iron on the way. We've got boiling oil to come through. This town center is not going to be living. That's 3 Petropoli and soon to be a Colossus. Oop. Divine not happy about that granary. Says, let me kill that one off. And meanwhile, yet again, Firefox says, I can't kill you. Let me go somewhere else. Now a whole bunch of chariot archers are in, so at least they'll take out the hoplites pretty quickly. And the elephants will be able to take out the town center. Zom coming down as the sentinels. Going to be a little bit of support here, but I think the town center in this position will fall. I don't know if it matters though, right? Like, you lost this position, you're losing all the gold. That's what's important here. In fact, never mind. Town center doesn't go down and you lose the top position. As Divine is getting closer and closer to taking this game here. Spaceus coming in, a whole bunch more hoplites on the way. Couple of priests to start coming through. As the villagers pull back, they can't really stay on this spot. Third town center coming up over here for Divine. As he's slowly taking this position now. A couple of priests to help take out the Colossus. As now Thoth comes through. And a big meteor onto this position. Divine quick to react though straight into that fortress. But will the meteor be enough to take out the fortress and then also take out the villagers afterwards? That's the big question. One more? No. But the villagers will make their way up to the top town center, get back home. No problems. As the army comes through for Divine and he is still in a good spot. Let's take a look at the Migdol. He does have himself, or Firefox does have himself the Valley of the Kings. He's empowering this out. He's going to get a huge boost of economy here. But I don't know if it matters. There's all the champion units to come through. Slowly but surely. Some catapults or something to siege down the town center would not go astray. In front of this side, a random catapult sneaking through here to take out this town center. As another fortress on the way. Divine turning his attention potentially up to this Migdol stronghold. This Firefox, where is he going? He's got to come up and maybe grab the gold mine back here. Thank you for the prime there, Lizard King. Appreciate you, my friend. It's now Divine going up to the main base of Firefox. Firefox will be managing to finish off this Migdol stronghold over on this left side. As boiling oil does come through, and that's going to be a bit of an assistance here, but the Migdol's still going to go down to those fully upgraded hoplites. So Migdol stronghold up onto the bottom side. Over here, just a little bit of champion camel rider raiding action, but these are the things, like little mini raids. They're good when you're in like an equal position, but when you're losing, like, and your opponent's already got a full pop army, it doesn't really matter. He's got full armory upgrades. He's got full pop army. He's got nearly, well, he's about to have full champion. There's nothing slowing this army down, and there's going to be another restoration here to boot. So how do you pull yourself into a position where you can actually win here? Well, you have to get your trade routes set up. You got to get your town center set up, and you have to play for the late game here in a big way. Migdol's all over the place. I like this Migdol here because it's going to secure this corner for just a little bit. As Firefox yet again going to go after this bottom town center. If he kills this off, then it does make life a little bit tricky here for Divine. Divine dropping another curse in this game. Another curse. Because why not? I would have expected them to save that for the restoration, but the curse is the option. As the catapults making their way over here. I wouldn't mind seeing a dock Using the Leviathan for a transport over here. You can hit this town center a little bit more. Units up onto this top side is Divine here. He's got himself 3 Gash of Taurus with that 23x versus buildings. Maybe I'll take that Migdal down very, very quickly. Zom coming down yet again. Hoplites come through. Try and snipe up the catapults and all the other good stuff. Divine with 600 HP left on that town center does manage to keep it alive. Firefox has got himself back his town center here, but what is his plan in this game? He's got no gold. Well, 1 gold mine left. His trade route is sitting at 8. He's got a lot more markets coming through, so now he's going to really pump out those camel caravans to try and get up to 60. But yeah, Divine's just got so much gold to grab, and he's got all the gold in the bank that he's got a lot more room to play with here, basically. He can take out this right corner and this left corner and secure all of that. I'd love to see some walls at this point from Divine just to prevent villagers from sneaking through. It's probably the most difficult thing to deal with in the late game if you don't build walls, is the villager side builds. Have these guys always had 22 range? I thought it was 21. Maybe it's always been 22. Anyways. There's Firefox yet again trying to do something with these elephants. Do they have that Tusk of Apidamark? I think they do. Yeah, Tusk of Apidamark is in. So it's a huge... He's got a lot of effective population to use, but he just doesn't have the income, I guess, at the moment to make that happen while spamming out camel caravans and villages. It's just not... It's not an easy time. And those... Look, the Gash of Taurus are just in, and they make very short work of everything. And the thing that's really good about these units over, say, Petropolis or Heliopolis is their move speed, their mobility. 3.8 speed might not seem like a lot, but it is. You can move them, you can maneuver and keep them alive versus camel riders or elephants and things like that. And Firefox here in the 33 minute of this game does decide to tap out as Divine manages to show the way. There's some spiciness here in this one with the Hades. Great defense, great hold. I think Firefox maybe was just like a little over aggressive. Probably could have taken it a little bit slower, especially once he had the 4 town centers. Sit back, get yourself to pop, and then play from that position rather than continuing to put the pedal to the metal, as they say. But a well-played game here. If you guys enjoyed it, make sure you hit the follow on the Twitch. If you're on the YouTube, hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you guys in the next game.